Hello and welcome to YouTube channel Tech Guru Gautam Prasad. This is a video on inspection and rejection of steel wire rope. Steel wire ropes play a vital role in load lifting in various industries. Therefore, it has to play a reliable role in load lifting without failure. For that, inspection happens to be important and that has to be followed. So, what are the points of inspection in the case of steel wire rope? Let's explore. So, who should inspect the steel wire ropes and when? So, it is very important to understand only trained persons should be allowed to carry out the inspection of steel wire ropes. Inspection of the wire rope must be done when it is being installed. Before installation, it must be inspected for any kind of defect it has. So visual inspection is a very important and simple type of the inspection procedure. Uh, Visually inspect the wire rope every working day. This is also recommended. Before working with the wire rope, they must be inspected for the failures. In order to avoid the failure due to any kind of defect it has, it must be inspected in the beginning of the each shift. Keep records of the daily inspection. If you find any kind of the defect or you suspect any kind of the defect in the steel wire rope, that must be recorded. This is very important where the job is done in all the three shifts. So the other shift people will know the inspection has this type of report about the steel wire rope and they will apply caution when they are lifting the load. Operators must check the wire rope every working day during the normal operation, as for example, in the beginning of the shift. So here I have tried to show you a steel wire rope and its various strands in order to understand what is one rope lay. So let's consider that this green strand is the starting point. The second one is of different color and it is going up to the red. Now the question arises, what is one lay length? So starting from the red to the red of the strand is this length is called one rope lay length. So this has to be understood properly in order to understand the criteria of rejection based on the one rope lay length. So here this is the cross section of the steel wire rope that has been shown in various colors for better understanding. Now thoroughly inspect the wire rope used in the normal operation weekly. For the normal operation that has not got very extensive application, for those places you can check them weekly. So wire rope that has not been used in a month must be inspected thoroughly before use. So if your wire rope is idle for a longer time of 1 month, then it must be inspected before use. So maintain a record of each rope that includes the date of inspection. This is very important. Date of inspection, type of inspection carried out, and the name of the person who has inspected. And inspection results must be recorded. So this is very important for the safe working in the industries. Here also I have tried to show you one rope lay length. So it is starting from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and again the first one is getting repeated. So the length between 1 to 1 is called basically one rope lay length. So having understood one rope lay length, let us try to understand what are the criteria for rejection of running ropes and standing ropes with regard to broken wires. So for running ropes, if more than six number of broken wires are present in one rope lay length, of the steel wire rope, then we will reject it. For the running rope, so far as single strand is concerned, if more than three wires are broken in a single strand in one rope lay length, then we can reject that steel wire rope. We must reject that steel wire rope for the safety of the people and equipment. As far as the standing ropes are concerned, if three plus broken wires are present in one lay length or one rope lay length, then we can reject that type of steel wire rope from the use. It must be discarded as soon as possible. So let's try to understand how do we thoroughly inspect the steel wire rope. This is called rag and visual method. So you have to take a rag or a cotton cloth in your hand and you have to move it along the surface of the steel wire rope. If some broken wire is there on the surface of the steel wire rope, it will snag with the cotton cloth or the rag, and this way you can find out if broken wire is present on the surface. And if you find out, immediately stop there and visually inspect the steel wire rope to find out if the steel wire rope wire is broken actually and it can be rejected. This has to be done carefully because rejecting the healthy wire rope might lead to the loss of the company. So, experience plays a vital role in the case of inspection and rejection of the steel wire rope. A premature rejection can lead to loss to the company. Let's try to understand different types of defects present in the steel wire rope. Normal wear is a natural kind of the wear that happens along the time, and with the use, every wire, you know, wear takes place in a natural way in all the types of the wires. So this is quite natural and happens over the time. Abrasive wear happens because of the frictional forces working on the steel wire rope. Basically, the steel wire rope rubs against the surface, it moves on, and the wear happens. Mechanical damage happens because of mechanical hemorrhages, etc. And sometimes the wires are broken on the surface or they are pitted, as visible in the case of here in the picture here. So rotational damage sometimes, unwinds the strands uh, and makes them weaker. Heat damage, because of the heat damage, you can see there is a hole that has been, made on the wire rope, and this is damaged. You cannot use this type of the wire rope because anytime this failure could happen and lead to severe consequences. So, bending fatigue, because of the bending, sometimes, cracks develop on the wire ropes or wire ropes are broken and you have to reject them. Let's proceed. Here, rope damage that we have seen normal wear. Bird caging is a very uh, peculiar type of the defect in which the strands open out or leave the core and gets loosened. So this type of defect is very critical and the steel wire rope must be rejected out of use. It must be put out of the use immediately if found such type of defect. Abrasive wear we have already talked about. Mechanical damage we have already talked about. Rotational damage, this we also have talked about. And heat damage, that is also we have talked about. Heat damage could be of different form as one we have seen here, and the other could be like this, where the surface is damaged, not a hole is created, the whole surface of the steel wire rope is damaged. Abraded. or worn wire rope, and bending type of the fatigue. Corrosion is one of the major type of the defect. If you are leaving the steel wire rope unused, then probably your steel wire rope will corrode if kept in a moist area, or it is kept in the open environment, then it is liable to erode, corrode easily, and therefore it must be rejected if formed in such a worse condition. Popped core means core of the steel wire rope comes out, and that this is visible here in the picture, that this in this portion the core has come out. So in this case also the steel wire rope becomes weak, and that must be removed from the use. Termination failure. At the case of the termination, this is a ferrule or socket. So near the socket, the probability of failure of the steel wire or breaking of the wires is, uh, you know, most probable, and so this place has to be, inspected very clearly, very minutely, so that if any kind of defect is present, this could be, discarded out of use. Failure, footing failure, we have already talked about. Bird cage, again, we have already talked about. Shock loading is something that must be taken care of by the operator. So, be it a UT crane operator, mobile crane operator, or any kind of the operator, he must take care of the shock loading. Shock loading means picking up the load and lifting it immediately with the solid jerks, and that causes the damage in the rope, like shown in the picture. So this is quite damaging, but this can be, avoided by better training to the operators. Abrasion, thermal damage, and corrosion we have already talked about, and there are different types of the bird cages. I have tried to show you in the picture. How do you thoroughly inspect the wire rope? For that, you need some, tackles. Here is a tackle that is called marlin spike. With the help of this, you have to, uh, you know, uh, take the strands out to inspect the inside of the steel wire rope, so that you are able to visually check abrasions, corrosion, pitting, or lubrication, lack of lubrication inside the rope. So, this marlin spike helps you in inspecting the steel wire rope in a better manner. Sometimes you have to measure the steel wire rope diameter to check if there is any appreciable decrease in the diameter of the steel wire rope, because that is taken as an important sign of the wear and damage to the steel wire rope. So if any appreciable damage of about 10% is there in the steel wire rope diameter, then it must be put out of the use. Here, some ASME standards are given. ASME, American Society of Mechanical Engineers, is framing a standards for different types of ropes in different types of uses. So equipments are given here. Overhead gantry cranes, portal, tower, pillar cranes, crawler, locomotive cranes, derricks, and base-mounted drum hoists, floating cranes and derricks, overhead hoists and personal hoist and material hoists. So for them, operating ropes, number of broken wires in one lay rope lay and in one strand is given. So for one rope lay length, it is 12 for overhead cranes, but for one strand, in particular, it is 4. Number of wires is 4. So 3 plus, we had studied just now, it is 4, basically more than 3. So it is 12 as suggested by ASME. Different types of standards are there. And you have portal and the tower pillar cranes. For them, it is 6 and 3 number of wires broken. on the surface of the steel wire rope. So similarly, you have different types of, equipments, lifting equipments, and then rejection criteria of the steel wire ropes for running ropes and for standing ropes. So standing ropes, it is stringent, more stringent as compared to standing ropes. Okay, so that has to be taken care of clearly. So if you want to stay safe in load lifting, you have to inspect your steel wire ropes. That is most important part of your load lifting. So that was the last slide of the video. Thank you very much for staying till the last slide of the video. If you liked the video, give a thumbs up because that means a lot to the YouTubers. And if you want to ask any question regarding the subject I dealt with, you can ask in the comment section. I would like to reply to your question as early as possible. If it is worthwhile for any of your friends, don't forget to share it. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel for updates like this video. Thank you so much. Once again, stay tuned with me.